Captain's log. Supplemental. The toilet has been fixed, but at great cost. A request has been put into Subfleet for supplies. We ran out of poppadoms. All hope is lost. Before we start, there's a new video on Moisky Live linked below. I'm streaming on Twitch some more Plague Inc. also linked below, and there was an art contest on this channel for a heat-changing moist badge. These are the 5 entries, and this is the winner. Patrons chose the winner. To the winner, you sent this to me via email. Please hit me up the same way with an address, and I will have it sent to you as soon as possible. These will now be used as emojis on my Discord server. Yay. Now the subject of today is going to be something quite serious. It's going to take place in China, in the Yunnan province. I say serious, I meant comical, but we're going to go with serious, with super serial here on this channel. And I've noticed with all the news, there's a lot of it going about that is all too serious. So from time to time, I want to try and introduce something a bit more light-hearted. It has been posited by a friend of mine that perhaps we do a light-hearted news stream on their channel. I'm actually down for that. When it happens, I'll let you know. In the Yunnan province, there was a store of corn wine. This corn wine was raided by some rather nasty burglars. The evil kind that should not be treated well. I'm joking, of course. This is hilarious. As we all know, there are different types of drunks. You have the aggressive, the relaxed, the comical, the stupid. The list goes on. Oh, and the ones that fall asleep. And for criminals, it should be more based around obtaining the product, getting to a safe place, consuming the product, knowing you can't be found. But not for these two perps. No. These two perps decided, well, we just drunk this place dry, bro. Let's go to sleep. So they did. They fell asleep back to back on a dirt bed. These perps. Here is a picture of the perps. Yes, they look like hardened criminals, possibly pirates. One does have to wonder if these pachyderms had turned to alcohol to sanitize their trunks. Perhaps they're very familiar with the coronavirus, or as it's called today, rolling rock virus. Yes, and in China of all places. I'm surprised we even knew this existed, because they're so renowned for sharing things with us when it's appropriate. For those who don't know much about elephants, Asian elephants, or Elephas maximus indicus, inhabit grasslands and forest habitats across countries in southern Asia, and there are estimated to be fewer than 50,000 of them in the wild. I'm not surprised if their livers are taking an absolute pummeling from this corn wine. If it had been boxed, I'm sure they would have struggled for a few seconds longer. Then again, one does have to wonder if they would have drank wine from a box, or if they're classy bitches. Would they perhaps have got it from a bottle? Or just a keg? Or a trough? In China, there are only 250 of these elephants left, and currently face the threat of extinction, so obviously more has to be done to try and protect them. Somebody did rather amusingly put out a tweet with a photo of the elephant herd in question where these two come from, saying that when they were all sober, clustered together amid rows of crops, in forest regions where elephants live, locals are aware of the animals' interest in human-made alcohol. But even when people bury the liquor, elephants find it. Have you tried 6 feet deep? Or have you considered perhaps finding something a little bit stronger for them? Something that will get them to that moment faster and, of course, then limit how much of the corn wine they go for. It is also known, because elephants are partial to alcohol, that they will mark locations where they've previously found alcohol and come back later to see if there's more. In tribal belts, people hide country-made alcohol, but somehow the elephants will find it, because obviously the sense of smell is astonishingly good along with their intelligence. So they will mark houses. It's also worth noting that if they'd see a drunk person, they actually get irritated. Why? Because the alcohol wasn't shared with them, and I actually can agree with that. If you're going to have a party, a good party, a memorable party, a party of legend, one that everyone will talk about, one where all the party animals turn up, what you really need is an elephant. And I'm not joking. That would be a pretty memorable party. Now try and do a keg stand with one of them. I mean, you've seen some in the circus on the ball, right? Replace it with a keg. There are rumours and anecdotes that long suggest that African elephants become drunk on fermented marula fruit. Although, a decade ago, scientists determined that this was likely a myth, because an animal the size of an elephant, weighing more than 6,000 pounds, would have to consume 400 times the amount of fruit in its normal diet and not drink any water for the alcohol to make it intoxicated. That sounds like a challenge. I like challenges. I'm okay with challenges. In fact, I'm sure the elephants are okay with it too. However, elephants that come across caches of liquor or wine or weapons might guzzle the beverage for its sweet taste. Might I recommend mixing your wine with some gunpowder for that extra kick? I'm joking. Jeez. Which could lead to drunkenness. Imagine my shock. Other types of wild creatures have demonstrated the effects of consuming too much alcohol. For example, in 2011, a moose in Sweden got drunk after eating fermented apples and wound up entangled in a tree. Sounds like a cracking Saturday night out. Now, according to the Smithsonian, white-tailed deer often binge on fermented apples in orchards, which make them stumble and sleepy. Sounds to me like they only had their pre-drinks and their lightweights. Chimpanzees, our closest living primate relatives, appear to enjoy the taste of alcohol, soaking up fermenting palm sap with leaves and then squeezing the booze into their mouths. That also sounds like a pre-drink. You're all lightweights. Yes. But there's one more animal that imbibes more than any other. The Malaysian pen-tailed shrew. The shrew's diet consists entirely of fermented nectar that is 3.8% alcohol, a light beer, suggesting that the shrews could be perpetually drunk. However, despite the nectar's high alcohol content, the shrews have, well, they've evolved into shrew saw to be able to metabolize it so efficiently that they don't become inebriated at all. This is something that was discovered by scientists in 2008. I love this. This is my favourite story of the week, I'm just saying. We have thieves stealing the precious corn wine, and we have proof that other animals have a bit of a soft spot for booze. I'm now starting to understand why people like liver and bacon, especially if it comes from an aminal that is alcohol-soaked. And I'm very much aware of the actual science, thank you for pointing out in advance. I'm loving this too much, I'm sorry. And in truth, it does make for a nice break from all the very serious subjects we have covered more recently. Tomorrow is an exhibition of stupid people, and I've got a lot of stupid people to go through. And we have a Halls of Injustice for Friday, one that I've been holding on to for a while, because the subject is politically charged. However, and this is a big however, it concerns accusations, and how this went through the judicial system for the person who was a politician to come out innocent. And that's really important to me. So hopefully we get at least one more laugh in before the end of the week. One can hope. If I don't see you tonight on Twitch for a rather fun Plague Inc. stream, help me get 1,500 followers, please. Link below. I hope you'll have a fantastic third day of quarantine, and thank you all for listening. Nice. In a dream, Karana saw the city in the valley, and the sea coast beyond, and the snowy peak overlooking the sea, and the gaily painted galleys that sail out of the harbour toward the distant regions, where the sea meets the sky. In a dream, it was also that he came by his name of Kuranes, for when awake, he was called by another name. Perhaps it was natural for him to dream a new name, for he was the last of his family, and alone among the indifferent millions of London, so there were not many to speak to him and remind him who he had been. His money and lands were gone, and he did not care for the ways of people about him, but preferred to dream and write of his dreams. When he wrote, was laughed at by those to whom he shewed it.